He's absolutely beautiful, and we've named him Cooper. And my son didn't even have a girlfriend when I left, so I was still stunned. And then he said he's got 4 beautiful paws. And of course then I knew that it was a dog that he was talking about. He was lying on his mat, and we all had our hand on him, and it was so peaceful and so beautiful. And we all went down to the hole. We buried him with his mat, and after the boys had buried him, my husband Les said to our very non-practical son Steve, well, I'm surprised that you knew which end of the spade to use, mate. And they filled it in with laughter and tears. We came back into the house and sat around the table, and my husband, who's not a drinker, said, go and get a couple of beers out of the fridge. I think it's time, we need a drink. And so we all sat around, and within 10 minutes we were laughing about the antics that Cooper had shared with us, and told stories of one another. It was like a wake for an adult, a much loved adult. And I thought, when the children went, I said to Les, this is going to be like what it'll be when we go. The children will cry and they will miss us, and then they will laugh and life will go on.
If we had pizza, he knew he was going to get the crusts. As soon as the pizza entered the house, he would become excited. But yet, you could put a piece of pizza in a place where he could have snatched it, and he wouldn't have snatched it. He would wait patiently for those crusts that he knew he was going to get.
Well, he went through a long phase where his health was fading. His quality of life was dropping so much that I made a decision to have him put down at the vet. So he died in my arms.
Bella was our beagle's name, and Bella was the name given to her by one of our sons. As you know, Bella means beautiful, and that just describes her personality. She was so lovely. When Bella died, or the day that she was put to sleep, she was she was actually in a coma. So she was laying on a mat on the floor. And I just sat down beside her, and the vet was just lovely. Like, he was so understanding of the situation, and he allowed me all the time in the world to be with Bella, just prior to her being put to sleep, and then just after. And I just sat there and looked into her eyes, and I just watched her and was just with her, and it was I don't know, I think it's like all I could offer her at that point was my company, and that's all that she'd ever given me.
Nice and warm. Nice and warm. Got your jumper on, haven't you? Oh, spindle legs. Spindle legs.
I just knew that all the trauma of that day, that it was the best decision for her. But yeah, it was just it was hard to make the final decision, but it was lovely to be with her in those last moments, and to know that it wasn't a moment that she had to face on her own, and that we were there, and that it didn't matter what was happening, that we just always love her and think about her, and we still do talk about her. And funnily enough, my husband pulled my car apart even today, and this is years after she left, and we found some of her hair.
4 people have been winched to safety after being stranded in floodwaters in Queensland. A couple were driving with their 15-year-old daughter and her friend when their ute was swept up in rising waters in Coombe National Park. The 4 climbed onto the back of the ute and phoned for help.
That night we decided, okay, we would take a puppy, because all my kids were like, oh, of course we've got to have one of these puppies, and we took one home, and again they decided to name the puppy, and they called her Angel because of Bella. We thought that Angel sort of went with Bella, and we thought that Angel would be best friends with Bella if they knew each other. And we took Angel home, and I remember even on the Saturday that night sitting there, and I had this little puppy in my lap, and she just it was like I became her mother that night, and I was sitting down and I was thinking of Bella, and I was crying still over Bella. But Angel curled up in my lap, and she looked up at me, and she leapt up and put her little paws on my chest, and she was licking my tears away, which of course made me cry even more because she was so beautiful and so loving. And I think that really helped to soften the grief of losing Bella, because then suddenly I had a new puppy to take care of, and life goes on.